Hello club sporters, welcome back to the channel. So it's been a few days coming for this video, in as much as I was waiting for the parts and for some weather to come out. But today is a good thing. So what is it? Once you have your beautiful GR, prepared or not, you're satisfied in driving it, but what is it that makes a difference when you look at your other car or your wife's car or whatever? It is many times aspects of convenience. For example, I'm carrying a box or not, and I walk up to the car and just a simple car that costs the same money or less can do this and close immediately its boot automatically. So the GR Yaris, I'm coming in with a box and come and see. I'm struggling many times, many people struggle, and I manage then to open and I access my boot. So for me this is something I can live with, because in the end I prefer having 3 or 4 kilos less of weight, but in the same time having an accessible situation, because it is electric in the latch, so it does work in this way. But on the other hand, there is something that is really difficult, especially if I have to work quick or show somebody what I have under the engine bay. So let's see the difference. This is just, let's say, a same budget, simple Audi Q3. So I open the hood latch and yes, it just opens automatically, because it does have a gas strut here. So this is very handy. I don't have to get that much dirty and everything. But at the contrary, let's go and see what happens with the GR Yaris. Okay, so I already popped the hood here, so let's try and see what happens. So I open this manually, and that it is. So it's either up or down. It's very light, but like in all the cars of the past, I have to get the latch in and block it. So this is something that for me is personally quite disturbing, because every time you have to open the hood, you have to look for the latch, you have to attach it. But also, I want to say something else. For the subscribers that are using hood vents from us, basically the issue is you have to limit the cut of the hood vent cutout, because you have the hood latch sheet metal here. So what could a solution be? How can we have some gas struts in order to cut out these parts and still have no problem and no issues in raising the bonnet hood? Who has done this solution yet? Well, I found BFM Solutions, a company based in California, that actually have done this product, and it's very, very cool. So you can see that these are also carbon struts, so they look very, very precious, and the installation process is very, very quick. Basically they go from here to here, and you get an automated opening. So let's go on and install these and see how they work for us. Great. Okay, so now we're going to go through with the installation, and it's very, very straightforward. So basically we've got these small brackets. One will go on the hood side, just like so, and the other one that has got also its counter bracket basically will go on the fender side. So now we will put all of this together and we'll have a look at how it goes. Cheers. Okay guys, so for this job that is quite straightforward and simple, we only need a couple of tools. So we can use a 12 ratchet tool, a 10 millimeter ratchet tool, and possibly if you do have a ratchet itself, that will be better. So very straightforward. Basically the hardest part of the whole job is just to get these fender brackets here installed just like so. And in order to do so, we have to let free just our washing fluid and take this rubber protection out for a moment. And basically what we will do is put the bracket through here and center the hole there is behind here with the two screws. The fact is that to do this better, I think that we will have to take the light off, because otherwise it's going to be really tight to do. So I will just try to loosen the light. You see, I like to do these things live, because in this way everybody can see the actual process. It's not so hard. Okay, so we've loosened the light here, so we've got not much movement still. So we have to leave the other bracket on the other side loose. Just for the peace of mind for working easily, you know. It's just much better like this. And you always make attention if the screws are the same or different. In this case they are the same. So now we still have a little plug here. And we will put this one together with the other two. So in this way we just have that minimum movement we need in order to be able to move through the job. So the instructions, yes, they have made them, but they are not that complete, and the bracket is in fact in the wrong position now. We need to put it in the first opening. So let's do that, and really you have to pay a lot of attention not to lose your screws here. Otherwise it's going to be a huge problem. Okay, so I just figured it out. So basically I'm using an extension for my 10mm bit, and you can come in from here. Now that you have some play and movement in the light, you can come in here and catch your screws. So let's see if I can embarrass myself by doing it live and how this works. So obviously we are on the right hand side of the car. So we've got a fender R on the bit itself. And let's go in there. So yeah, what you really don't want to do is to lose your screws inside there, because it's going to be a nightmare to retrieve possibly. So what I do is I come inside them with the bit itself and I work my way in. So I'm in now. I will just use the other screwdriver to make sure that the other screw is tapped all the way in, because otherwise, I don't know if you guys can see behind here, but it's okay. So now basically I've got my bracket that is against, in its position. So here I have the counter bracket, fender side, I will just screw it in loosely on one side. Okay, perfect. Now my screwdriver itself is coming to parts. Yeah. So let's see how we can get through to the other side. Okay. It's starting to look better. And we can just get it like this, always with screwdriver adapter for my 10mm bit. Very easy job. Yeah. So now I go all close, but I will not close it completely because I have to go on the other side and align this one too. Also, I want to make sure that this is all the way inside here. I'm gonna have to nudge the light a little bit. Yeah, I mean, the best solution would be to do this with your bumper down and the light out, because I've got very little movement from the light itself, and then it goes into interference.
Okay, what I don't like is, yeah, this is better. Okay, like this, I'm happy. I can see this working.
Okay, so of course I lost my bit inside, but fortunately it was when I was retracting it, so the bracket is well fixed. So this is an important part. So before we saw that we had to undo the light, so we had to free it up from the clip and the two screws in order to get access. And possibly if you have a bit adapter with a screwdriver that has some flex in it, a flexible one, it's easier to get through and behind to the screws. Just because they're in there in the bracket, it's very hard to show, but you get me on this. It's not rocket science, it's very simple. So what happens is the light has moved up and out a bit, and the insert where the light goes has got a centering to it. So what you want to do is very delicately just get the bracket itself from the ball and move it up in order to recenter your light itself. And as you see, it's centered. So I like to do one thing at a time. Therefore, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lock the light into the position again. So that's done, and we can go on to the next part. So clip is very easy, and the screws. So this part is done. And also it's self-centering, so there's not really much option for you to move around, but still check if it sits flush, because you can just only slightly push it in order to get a good gap fill there. So I'm just checking if I have another 10mm bit, but it doesn't look like it now, so we'll just go in the traditional way. Okay, so our light is on, our bracket is on, and the bracket is going on top of the light. So we actually do not have any problems from interference. It's just like so. So everything is working, and this is aligned with the second one. So what we want to do is to use a 12 key that we have here and undo Of course, we have taken this bonnet off various times on this car, but if your bonnet is new, you can also put paper tape on the bolt itself, not to ruin it. So you do the cleanest job possible. I can tell you, it's also time to put some grease on here. So yeah, it's time to grease this bolt up a little bit. And we will also grease the surfaces in a way that so we do not have any dirt issues coming. Just a little bit of grease is what you need, not much. And I'm going to take the remaining grease and put it on the mating surface. And now, what to do? Now we will have the other bracket that is called hood right. Then we will have one of these spring washers. And that's all. So the spring washer will go under the bracket, and then we will go through with the bolt, and we will just put it back in place like so.
As simple as that. So now I'll get my 12mm bit. And I'll bring this against.
Yeah, and I can see it self-centering itself, so again, not a problem. You want this tight, but without exaggeration, because the hood is aluminium, so you do not want it too high. And as you see, it's perfectly aligned through between the two. So, also the fact that we took this rubber out, I always take this rubber out during summers, because between the hood vents and everything, it helps the air escape in a better way. So this is not needed anymore. So we can get our strut dampers.
And now finish the installation with these. They're very well packaged. And there we go.
So these hood strut dampers do have an adjustment, you see. So I can adjust the balls, the bearings, in this way. So what I want to do for first is to gently get out this retaining clip that is metallic. So now the clip fixes in this way, just inside, and then the clip goes back in, and that's finished. So now you see that we are just slightly too long. So I will adjust the damper itself. And find the perfect position, while having obviously the stock latch attached, because the stock latch gives you the perfect height position you need. So this one is in, and it's all done. So this is our installation. I am quite happy of the position, and as you see, now you can get your hood latch out, and the hood stays up on itself, on its own. You see? And then you've got the movement. So now we're only left to do the other side, and this is the completed job. So I would say that all in all, after seeing this tutorial, you can do the full job in 45 minutes. Okay, so now I'll finish up the other side, and I'm gonna see you later. Cheers. Okay guys, so the job is finished. I also installed the right side. As I said, it was quite quick, so not a big problem. So the latch is popped, and let's see what happens now. Wow, finally the hood is going on automatically, so no more need. Obviously, the damper struts are new now, so maybe you can accompany it to the end, because as you saw, it just bounced a little bit while coming up. But in this way, it's perfect. And look at what a clean engine bay we have now. So the beautiful BFM struts with their carbon look are ready. They're installed here and here. No longer the need to have the reinforcement above it, and in this way we can also make an improved cutout for the hood vents, both in the Rally 2 version and in the WRC version, like on my car. So I must say, very clean job, and finally this looks at the level of which I expect from a car like a GR Yaris. So if you made it to here, I'm sure that you're gonna buy this kit too. So as usual, I have a discount for you that you will find down in the description. So stay tuned with the notification bells and subscribe on, because very soon big content is coming. Have a good day now. Bye bye.